Hello. Um, can you guys hear me on the platform?
I can hear you. I
Okay,
think
all
we
right. So,
I got bumped off. Okay, but I'm back.
welcome back.
Thank you, Sonny. Thank you very much. So we have started and we're going to keep going. I don't know what last you heard me say, but just to say we thank God that we've been able to get a move on. So those who have donated already, we're very grateful and we're thankful to you. The bank details are available on the website. They will also be projected before we finish the meeting today. And we do expect that members of the African Leadership Group will donate on a regular basis. Whether there's going to be a minimum donation or the other, we do not know yet. But I want to leave it as open and as flexible as possible for people to be part of this. We are praying and hoping that it will indeed be a great and significant move that people would like to join into, how to solve the leadership problem in Africa and in Nigeria is still a challenge, even for veteran leaders of Nigeria and Africa. But we will not stop trying. We'll keep at it until righteousness reigns in the land and the people can do great things. So we'll be having a very, very interesting personality today. Uh, our guest today is a bilingual, multiple award-winning actor, author, film director, producer, travel influencer, compare humanitarian personality, and an activist. I think it's the activist part that really, really challenges me. She started as a model in the 2000s, walking the fashion runway and being the face of major brands in West Africa. In 2004, she made her debut film, Crime to Christ, and immediately became the toast of filmmakers in Africa, going on to feature in over 100 productions to date and earning the 2010 Ghana Awards for the Best Lead Actress in a Movie. She's done various other movies and reality series. Every woman has a story. The mother of one lovely son, was born originally in Ghana, raised in Liberia, Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Lebanon. A graduate of the Ghana Institute of Languages, the International School of Aviation, and also studied public relations, marketing, and advertising at the Ghana Institute of Journalism. The author of a memoir, Toast to Life, which has gained recognition and is selling globally, and also the owner of a fashion company, House of Glam, cosmetic brands, Shades, and a film production company, Jewels Production. Please welcome with me this afternoon, Miss Juliet Ibrahim. Maybe I'll start by asking Juliet if she would like to tell us a little bit more about herself, a little bit more about her background. She's Lebanese, Ghanaian, Liberian, and trying to be a Nigerian somehow. So,
Thank
so
you
that's
so much for having me. Good afternoon, good evening, Pastor, good evening. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for having me. I think that biography was very, very long, but to add, I would just like to say that I did a bit of modeling before I went into acting, but I'm more known internationally for being an actress. And then I've delved into other stuff over the years. And now I'm an author. And the reason of being an author is I feel like it was time for me to tell my story to the world and use my story to impact others and let people see me for more than I am, than just what they see on the screen or what they get to see in pictures most times, which is just the actress side of Juliet. So it's taken me places. I've evolved over the years. I think for my followers who has been following me for all these years, they would have seen by now that there's a huge difference from the Juliet that they knew before and the one now. I'm from a family of 4. I'm the firstborn, and because of wars, I've moved from different countries. I'm bilingual. I speak French and English. Because I grew up in Ivory Coast. I lived there for 10 years. I'm very versatile, and I can adapt easily because of my experience with the wars and having to live in different countries as well. That's why I can gladly go anywhere and say, hey, I'm Nigerian, and Nigerians will understand and even believe that I'm Nigerian, because it's so easy for me to adapt and be able to live among people of different cultures around the world. Yeah.
Thank you. So what was the Juliet before and what's the Juliet now?
The Juliet before was a very timid, shy girl who had to do like a lot of self-esteem issues, struggling with understanding life and having to go through war. The first civil war I experienced was in Liberia, and that was at the age of 8 years old. Seeing that your family is leaving everything behind, like everything you guys grew up to, your family members are all being left behind, and you're trying to just fight for survival at that very age. And then, going through like being a refugee for so long, for so many years, and just trying to understand what life meant, like what is happening, like how are we going to survive this? How do I be strong for my younger siblings? How do I get to be there for my mom and my dad, and just like the young girl who was just struggling with all of these emotions, but being afraid to even speak up to my parents about it, because I'm like, oh, maybe I'm not supposed to talk to them that way, or maybe I'm not supposed to say these things, or I'm not supposed to bring up these things. Having no one to talk to, no one else besides my younger siblings or my parents, to have conversations with, and just having to deal with all of those emotions inside of her, and then now evolving into this woman who, based on experiences, has been able to see that life, teaches you these things. You go through all these things and you learn from them, and how you take those experiences and mold yourself is what makes you a better person. So I think that's the difference between the two people now.
So that's why we're probably going to be looking at the topic emotional intelligence and managing personal development, emotional intelligence and managing personal development, especially in a developing country. So maybe I want you to please, first of all, break it down, because the focus we try to focus on at the African Leadership Group is usually in terms of national development for Africa, especially Nigeria. So I'm going to be asking you some questions on that from somebody on the outside looking into Nigeria, doing business in Nigeria, feeling around in Nigeria. We'll be wanting to know your opinion of what you think, honestly and genuinely, about Nigeria and Africa and how we can make things better. But let's look at this issue of emotional intelligence. Sometimes I find it difficult getting to grasp with what emotional intelligence means. So maybe for young old men like myself, you can try and break it down and explain to us what emotional intelligence means and the challenges in a developing country.
Okay, so emotional intelligence to me, if I have to define and put it in my way, is being able to understand and live with your emotions intelligently. So if you're aware of something, it's easier for you to live around it or live with it. And self-awareness is very, very much a key ingredient to emotional intelligence. Being self-aware of your emotions and everything around it. So that's what I'll put it. I'll put it to. It's hard in developing countries, because a lot of us are molded into what we are today by society, by parenting. Because 20, 30 years ago, for instance, the way we were brought up was, I am the older person, I am your mom, I'm your father, I know what is right for you. So if I say don't do this, don't do this. There's no room for conversations. There's no growth as an individual. There's no room for you to sit down and think about right and wrong, or how to make decisions, and how to even strategize what it is you want to do for yourself. Our parents back in the day will actually tell us what they want us to become. I want you to be a doctor. I want you to be a scientist. I want you to be, a lawyer. So there was no room for any development. Nobody could understand these things. So all these emotions build up in us as individuals back then, and then we just bottle it up, and we don't know how to control them. And we tend to react or overreact to every little thing, because we have so much bottled up in us that we don't understand. We expect people or everybody we meet to be logical, forgetting to know that we're all human beings, and we are all very emotional people. I think emotional intelligence is very deep, because it goes into our day-to-day life and our day-to-day activities with every human being we come into contact with. It starts from the home, is from those we work with, in everybody you meet, even on the road, in traffic. It has to do with all of that. How do you react? The impulses, how do you control the triggers and things that affects your emotions?
Okay, thank you very, very much. But what are the challenges in a developing country? It's interesting, because just before I came on, a lady came to visit me in my office, and she was saying, mentioning all the things that people are going through on the streets in Nigeria today. She was talking about governance and the failure thereof, saying how people even going to supermarkets, very, very underdressed, because it's a pickup center. She mentioned a particular supermarket in Lagos where young girls go into, they're very underdressed, and it's a pickup center where young men go into and are hoping that they can meet some affluent lady or the other and begin to date, where people are now doing all sorts of cosmetic surgery just because they want to sell more themselves than anything else, and so on and so forth. And also where young men are doing Yahoo, and all manners of things.
And then they'll get this early next week, because we don't want to send emails on Friday. So Monday.
Can we please mute our microphone? Somebody's sending emails on Friday. Anyway, so where young men are now really indulging in crime and corrupt practices, and nobody's asking them any questions. What really are the challenges of the developing world at this point in time, developing country?
So we have a lot of challenges. Unfortunately and fortunately, I would say the world has evolved. And that's one thing we all have to look at it. The world is evolving, it's going to evolve, very soon. We hear that the whole world is going to be going virtual in a whole lot of things. There's all the likes of the crypto and everything. The world is evolving. It's not as we used to know it. So then again, you now go back to the fact that there are societal morals that has been set in every country. Most countries in Africa have their own morals, their values, and one of the major problems that I would say we face with the examples you've given is the fact that the youth of today want to blindly copy. They see these things because of the fact that the world has evolved, and there's the technology, there's social media, everything has been, it has been put out there. So they feel like, oh, we must copy every single thing that's put out there. And they are forcing it down everybody's throat that we need to accept it. Some countries around the world, or you can even say right here in Africa, a developing country. I wouldn't want to say which one, but some of them still maintain law and order where they put out there like, we cannot have people dressing indecently, and people obey the law, people follow the law. You can't see people dressing in the public area in that way. So when you come to a country like maybe Nigeria, Ghana, we probably don't have those laws. So people find it so easy to copy blindly and then go astray and do those things. So where the law is implemented and people are abiding and is, and things are being carried out, I feel like you have more people in order. People are going to be in line with what is supposed to be. But right now, with a whole lot of things are evolving, that sometimes it's hard for you to even like have conversations like this with some people, because they will argue that, point out to you, they will tell you, I've evolved, you are old school, you are trying to control me, and they see those things like that when you're trying to tell them that these things are not good. When you go into like the cyber crime is happening all over the world now, and it's been there for centuries, where we call it Yahoo, but it's happening. There are things put in place for these things. So when they find you in, modern countries, and some countries that everything is set, there are things that are put into place for you to be dealt with. But if you keep doing it in a country where there is no proper law to guide that or to even like govern that, then it becomes, oh, anybody can do it because I'll just go and bribe a police officer, or bribe somebody, or I know somebody in a higher authority, I'll come out tomorrow. So these are the issues, and I think that's what we're still classified as developing countries, because a lot of our leaders come into power without having a vision, and a leader has to have a vision. You have to have a mindset when you get into a place. You don't just go there and say, oh, I want to go there because I'm greedy. I feel like, oh, I'll get money. I'll have the power to rule everybody that comes my way, or the whole country, and things can be done my way. A leader has to be selfless. Our leaders are not selfless. They are not having a vision for the people. They're supposed to move with the people. They're supposed to see that I'm doing this for the good of the people. And I feel like that's one major thing we lack. We have a lot of greedy and selfish leaders in our countries. Yeah.
Well, that's a good point you mentioned. A leader has to have vision, selfless, and not be greedy. How come Africa, Nigeria, possibly Ghana, where you live, and Liberia, that you went through so many wars and all sorts of things, even Ivory Coast wasn't totally peaceful at a certain time. How come Africa, and from your own perspective, Nigeria, seems to be having this collection of leaders without a vision, leaders that are not selfless, leaders that are greedy? And what do you think we should do about it?
I think it starts with leadership. And why I say leadership is that a lot of these people that come into power, if you look at when they started or when they were even raised, it was so many years ago, like over 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we're talking about. That means these people are still stuck in the archaic way of thinking, of doing things, or the stagnant way of how they see. So they've not even, like, maybe they had a vision back then, in like when they were growing up, they're like, oh, I want to be a president. Fine. But did you sit down to put a goal in place? Did you sit down to see the broader vision? Did you sit down to think that, oh, the world and the times have changed? People have changed. People want more. People want this to be done this way. A lot of leaders don't even go back to school. They don't even learn on the job. Like, you're supposed to be a learner for life. Leadership is like a long life learning experience for you. You're always learning, even from the people you work with, the team you build. Your team is supposed to be like-minded individuals as yourself. You're supposed to push each other up to wherever you're going, to that goal or the vision you've set for yourself. So a lot of our leaders lack that. They don't try to bring in new people that have new ideas. They don't evolve. They're just stuck in the old ways. Like, this is what I know. Dictatorship kind of leadership. That's what they know. And unfortunately, this is not even happening just in the government sectors. It's happening even in offices, like corporate places, where some of these people just come in and this is what I know. My marketing manager cannot tell me what is best for my company. I must sign up on everything that the company wants to do, because that is their mindset. They don't know that they're supposed to have a team of people, like-minded people, that are supposed to be pushing that vision of the company in that direction. And I feel like that's one of the major problems that we have in Africa, or all these countries you've mentioned. We really do have it. And it starts from the homes, it starts from the schools. Unfortunately, it's now that some of us are now even like investing in personal development to understand that it starts from within you. And when one person is developed, you're supposed to add others to yourself. You're supposed to let other people see their own vision, make them leaders in their own circle. And it goes round and round like that. And it's a cycle that everybody's supposed to benefit from. But a lot of people are just like selfish. Like I said, they are not willing to learn. And that doesn't make you a true leader if you cannot learn, or if you don't want to listen to the voice of people or others around you.
So how has that been affecting the management of personal development from your own perspective? Has it affected someone like you with this kind of developing country situation that you found? And what would be the shout out to people like yourself, or people trying to aspire to something in Africa, possibly in Nigeria?
It's a huge challenge, because it's like sometimes you're the only one in the midst of 10 people that understand what it means to be selfless. And then you have to like take time to transform the mindset of these people around you, knowing that it's for the greater good. Because when you do that, these people also can in turn transform other 10 people in that circle. And it has to be, it's a lifelong mission that embark on to be developed, and we decide to be leaders to help others. It's tough because, like for me, I travel a lot. So I tend to meet so many people. I tend to go to so many countries that you go to some places and you're looking at the mindset of the people, you're even interacting with people and you're seeing the vision. I always like to use Dubai as an example. If you go to Dubai, like every time I go to Dubai from the airport, I'm inspired. Something new has developed. Every month, there's something new that is being put up. The airport is changing, something has come up. And I'm like, what are they thinking? And that's because their leader is a visionary. He saw the picture. He took everybody who was like-minded like him and told them, sold his vision to them. They understood it, and he let everybody be the best at what they can be, because he discovered the best in each one of the people that work with him. And he said, bring it on. Let's do this together. There is no selfish agenda to the leader. That's how I see him. And the country is developing. Everything is developing in the United Arab Emirates. Why? Because there's a vision. They know what they want to do. But for us, like I said, when I go to, like, I won't mention this country. I went to an African country, a West African country, and at the time, I had a connection with some investors from China. They wanted to do railways and like a whole lot of projects in that country, because the country is like developing and they had gone through war. They're trying to come back together, And I went to the government house. I spoke with those I needed to speak with, and I presented this to them. And it's big. It's a good thing. Why don't you want to develop your country, right? And I was told that, oh yeah, sure. Why not? Okay, send this the proposal, you send everything, whatever. And they sounded so excited. After I'll call, nobody will pick up. I will message, nobody will respond. I will email, nobody will respond. Now, for me, I see that as somebody who lacks vision. You don't want to better the country. Okay, that's fine. You probably want to do it in your own way. But guess what? That country, since I went there probably like 3 years ago, has still been in the same old position. People are still suffering. People are still finding ways to move from one place to another. They are not even trying on their own to do whatever. Fine, it could be that they don't want to owe, but these are like personal companies that wanted to do that thing from China. Maybe you don't want to owe them. That's fine. But you're still taking the money from the government and misusing it. And we'll hear, oh, you've traveled to this place, you have gone to spend this one on private jet or whatever. It happens. So it is very difficult when you're interacting with people who just don't see the vision or what Africa can be and what Africa has to offer, because we have so much to offer in Africa. I can use the music industry as an example. Now, everyone globally wants to tap into Afrobeats. Everyone wants to associate with an African musician, Nigerian musicians, for that matter. Everybody wants something to do with the Nigerian sound. Why? Because Nigerian musicians put their foot on the ground and they've understood that we have something to give to the world. So we are going to put ourselves out there and we are going to become this great. And when we are this great, people will come looking for us. And that's what is happening in the music industry. So I feel like until Africans can come together and understand, our leaders can understand, or we have those leaders that have a vision and understanding in power, that's the only way we can be able to live together and properly manage ourselves in Africa.
Okay, so the thing you mentioned about the Nigerian entertainment industry and musicians, and I'm going to tease you and say, I'm sure we're doing much better than Ghanaians and Liberians. Okay, I'm sure you agree that. And
I'll not answer that
though. You have to answer that. And that Nigeria is probably, I've said to you before that Nigeria is where the money is. You can go anywhere you want, but this is where you still have some kind of expression. But really, talk to me. What can we do? What can the average person on the streets do? What can the average person on the streets do to get or motivate or get the kind of leader that we want? Everybody seems stuck. We don't know what to do. All these other kinds of people without vision, with procurement, I call them prodigal leaders who really want to just divide and spend the money in the country. And we've tolerated it for so long. To be honest, and in fairness, Ghana might be doing a bit better than Nigeria in attracting foreign direct investments, in stability, in quietness. Even Nigerians go to Ghana when they want to have a vacation and so on and so forth. Rwanda has done extremely well with Kagame and so on and so forth. So what can we do in Nigeria, possibly in Africa, from your perspective, to try and get the kind of leaders that will take us to where we're going?
That's a very tough question. It's a very tough question, because funny enough, we can sit here and tell everybody, go out there, get your voter's ID card and vote. And solution, and that's like what we need. It just doesn't end there, and it doesn't start there. It starts from within. Every individual in Africa has to start from within. We have to transform ourselves. Our mindset has to be transformed. And when we are transformed, we improve on our character, what we deserve. We are aware of what we deserve as a people. When we are aware of these things, our values, we understand who we need to be a leader. But if people, like out of 10 people, when you, like I'm in Lagos right now, so I'll say if I go to Lagos Island and I speak to 10 people and I ask them, what do you want in a leader? And 10 of them are telling me, oh, we want somebody that can give us money. We want somebody that can put money in our pocket, that when things are hard. This is their mindset. That's what they want. They want somebody that can say, so that means if somebody's campaigning, the person goes there and talk to those 10 guys and say, oh, I'll give each of you 5K. They will be happy. They will vote for that person. So it's about the mindset. The transformation has to start from every one of us. Until we can start by changing the mindset of every single citizen or individual, in Africa, to understand the bigger picture of what we want. What do we deserve? What is our value? What is it that Africans want to be? How great are we in Africa? When we have this mindset, we are able to see through the lies, all those scripted speeches they will come up with to come and say to convince you during campaigns. You will see it, and you will know this one is not for us. And as a team, every individual, every citizen that is supposed to vote will know that we are not voting for this one. And they will vote for that person, or they can actually even be the same one to groom somebody with that same mindset as theirs and push that person through until the person gets there. Sometimes accountability is also good for all these things, but who holds these people accountable when they go in there and they don't do what they say they will do? That's another issue. So Africa's problem is beyond just discussing it every other day. It's time we start taking action. It's time that we start having these kind of platforms to talk about these things with like-minded individuals, so that even if you can be able to convince or to create another out of whatever conversation you have, it's an improvement. It's just one person a day. It will help. It will help. I really cannot say what the solution is, but this is like my little opinion, what I think. The mindset, the mind transformation is needed in Africans.
So how do we transform the minds of 214 million Nigerians, or maybe 212 million Nigerians? I mean, how do we transform the mind? What can individuals like myself and yourself, organizations, institutions do to lead to this transformation? Who will bail the cat? What do you think?
Yeah. So what I would like to even, like I always say, let me go this way. I'll go back to the emotional intelligence. I'm a scenario for reason why I say we need to be able to change and transform the mindset of every citizen or everybody that lives in Africa. I live in Lagos, Berkeley. So one day I'm heading to the airport. My flight is at 10 p.m. I left my house at 4 p.m. On the way, there's traffic. I don't understand why there was traffic at that spot. I'm trying to understand with the driver, like, what's going on? Somebody is so much in a hurry, he crosses the other person, the other one is overtaken from the right, another person is coming from this side, everybody's trying to go at the same time. So they cause blockage. We're waiting, 1 hour, I'm still stuck there and I have a flight to catch. And I'm thinking to myself, like, we're all in a hurry, everybody has somewhere to go. But the mindset of these people, that's where the emotional intelligence comes in. People take whatever emotions they have from somewhere else, somebody triggered them, or they're in a hurry to go somewhere, and then they take it out on everybody on the street. No, I have to be first. I have to get there first. It's about me. And you see a 2-lane, you create 4. Then you come in from somewhere else, another person comes in and create a 5th one facing this way. Or a one-way, this way you have created one way. So all these things now causes problems. So until we can be able to evolve as a people and change our mindset, understand how to deal with our emotions, understand what values we have, what it is that we want from our country, what is it, power even of Nigeria, I'm going to use it, is powerful. Nigeria is one of the greatest countries in Africa. Until Nigerians can see this and understand what it means to be great, it will be hard, because some people are just living as every day comes. Like, they wake up in the morning, they are not even motivated like, there's no self-motivation, there's no self-awareness, there's no personal development in that person. The person wakes up like, oh God, I'm going to face this traffic again. They get in the car, they start moving. Somebody wants to cross them. And then they attack the person. Then this other person is back. Because he's in a hurry to get to a meeting. Everybody is angry at something. They're angry at the system. So if you're angry at the system, you're not angry at another individual. So emotional intelligence helps you to understand how to understand your triggers and in what direction do you want to channel that energy or that emotions you're feeling. Is it at your fellow individual, your fellow citizen? No. Or is it at the system? Then when you sit back and understand that it's the system that is causing these problems, the everyday problems for you, how do you fix it? Then we start having all these leaders that understand the ways to fix it. You start finding those mentors. You follow them, you're listening to them, you go to classes, you attend like seminars, you try to even read online to just develop yourself mentally. When you have that developed mindset, you can change a lot. It might not happen overnight. I can tell everybody, like, let's just go out and vote for the best person. But sometimes, if they give you 5 candidates, the 5 say they are not good. What do? You have to settle for one. That is how it's been in Africa. We have to settle for one person. And I know a lot of people who have like very good, good leadership skills, but they're just even afraid to even get into that circle. Like they're going to mess me up or something. I can't even try it. Or maybe I have to get a ticket where like some parties are the only ones controlling like who goes, and you have to be a member of that party before you can even run. And it's a whole lot of things that goes on the ground in African, elections and stuff. But it starts one by one, individually, and with one vision and one mindset. That's what I would say.
Though, is that not very many people are exposed to this kind of thinking. And what I'm trying to find out when you is how do those who are exposed, people like yourself or whoever else is, what role they should now begin to play to expose others? That's question number one. And I'm going to put the floor open for people to begin to ask questions in another minute or so. And then question number 2 is, I'm sure you are aware that in 2020, sometime in October 2010, 20th of October, there was a movement in Nigeria called the NSAS. They blocked the gates, they blocked everywhere for some time, and young people came onto the streets. And after that, people shot at them and they've gone back to their homes. I don't know if you're in that age bracket or not, but it was an age bracket of young people who really wanted some kind of change. Now they've gone back into their various corners. Do you have a word for them? Is there anything they can do? What did you think of that movement? Were you aware of it? And again, more especially those who know things about what to do, what should they do to try and change the narrative?
Okay. I didn't quite get your first question because the line was breaking, but I can answer
the second one. Okay.
Yeah, so the second
did you get the second one?
Yeah, I think it was about NSAS, but I didn't get the question too.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry about that. The first question was, you've spoken quite a lot about emotional intelligence and people who should have it and how to change your mindset and how to channel your energies. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, not too many people know about this. A few people, right, about this. And I'm not sure those few that even know about it are doing much to influence others. What do you think people should do to influence the majority, the people who know better? What should they do to influence the majority? That's the first question. The second question is, I don't know if you know much about the NSAS movement, and if you do, what do you think that group of people, the young people, should try and do to help themselves in a developing country like Nigeria?
Okay, so the first one, people who are aware, people who have at least developed themselves and their mindsets should be able to use every platform possible to try and transform and create new leaders in every possible way. So this starts from your home. It starts from, being in groups, from the church, from any form, even in school. Like, you have to create your own like-minded group of people, and you guys have to have conversations. A true leader is one that never stops learning. You have to be able to learn. Others see what it is that they want to see from the discussions you have. Even if you don't have the opportunities to travel and experience changes from other countries, like well-developed countries, you can always use the internet and social media for positive things, for learning. You can find mentors, there's podcasts, you can read books, there are apps for books, you can go to libraries, you can buy books. A lot of our African youth don't read. You don't really see people carrying books to read. It's fine. We have a digital age. That's okay. Listen to the books, learn more, invest in yourself. Because when you do that, you'll see that you want to share that thing that you heard or you've read with the next person. And by you doing that, you are educating, you are also creating another leader, a like-minded leader like yourself. And when we do that, we are indirectly creating one mindset with one vision at the end of the day. And it starts from every individual, from every home. And like, don't just sit down and read negative stuff every day or feed yourself with negative things every day. That's one of the things I like about personal development. You'll start understanding how you need to manifest and feed yourself with positivity every single day. Some people around me tell me, I would never see you worry. It's not that. It's not, I never see myself worry. The idea is, I think I have my favorite quote here, up here, that sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. So I don't say I lose. If it doesn't work out, I've learned my lesson. I've learned from that experience and I move on. Doesn't mean I should worry. I have to start finding solutions. What could I have done better? What is I need to do able to get to that next point? So a lot of us have to start changing the mindset. A lot of people have to start exposing their minds to possibilities, to the greatness of Africa, to the greatness of the African youth. We have so many African youth that are doing marvelous things around the world, and people don't even talk about them. We only talk about the negative things in the news and everything. But let's start researching on what we are doing as Africans outside. And it will help to transform our minds and for us to see how things are being done. And where you don't understand, your mentors come in, you ask questions, you email them, you follow them on social media, you find them in the church, you find them everywhere. And you'll have these conversations that need to be had. And when it comes to the NSAS experience, it's so unfortunate. I was here in Lagos when it happened, and oh my God, I was afraid, I was scared. I was among the first set of people that we did the walking. I was afraid of a stampede. I was afraid of everything at the same time. Like, what if? Because I am a victim of 3 civil wars. And I know what it means to have any political unrest, because anything can happen at any time. My family were back home in Ghana praying and afraid, like, oh my God, like, how do you do that? Like, how what's going on? I was like, oh God, like, all kinds of prayers, all kinds of thoughts were going through my mind. And then when it started happening and going on every other day, I know we had a message that we wanted to pass. I was big on it on Twitter. We had a message because I have been a victim of the police brutality and issues here in Lagos myself, with my sister and my Ghanaian personal assistant who was with me at the time. We were coming from the same, and we were going home after watching the movie. Few of us were in the car. These guys stopped us and said, "Out of the car, out of the car." And then we got down, we got out, and the next thing was, "Open your bags." And then my sister, who was like her first time visiting at the time, was like my youngest sister. She said, "Why would I open my bag? That's violation to my rights, like, because you know what it means. Like, why should did I do anything? Like, have I committed any crime?" We're just driving slowly going to our house. And then he's like, I said, "Open your bag." He started shouting. And the other one was ahead of him in front of another car, harassing the car as well. And I said, "No, these guys do these things. Sometimes they're probably drunk or they're just trigger happy. Don't argue with them. Let's open it and see." Then I took out my phone and I started recording. He wasn't knowing that I was recording, but I just started recording. And my PA, because he's a boy and he's Ghanaian, so he has his accent. He said, "Show me your ID card. Show me this." And he shows, "You're saying Ghanaian passport." And he's like, "Show me." He said, "I'm with my madam, like we're coming from the cinema." He tried to explain, how Ghanaians sometimes they're very soft. And the man like kept going, and he hadn't come to me yet to ask anything. His colleague left the front car and came to us. And his colleague was like, "What's going on here? What's going on here?" And then they were holding their guns like this. Their guns are not even down, it's up. And they're just trigger happy talking because they're in the moment. And we were scared. And I told my sister, "Don't worry, there's nothing in the bag besides our phone anyway. So let them look through." They were going through the bags. My bag, they took my bag, the rope cut. He picked it up himself. And I'm just watching, because for me, in those kind of cases, I'm scared. Maybe they can decide to like set you up and put something in your property. And next thing they'll say you are, you've done this, or they've caught something on you. So I was recording everything. And then the other one recognized me. "Are you not the actress? Okay, wait. Hey, I've been watching your film." Like, and then I just paused and I just looked. And my PA was like, "I've been telling them my madam since like blah, 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 blah." And I was like, "Oh no, go now. Anything for the boys, anything for the boys." I have no, leave her. I was like, "I'm sorry, I don't have anything for you guys." And then I just walked in. "We have been watching your film." And I was horrified. That was my experience. I had to share it when this whole issue was happening, because innocent people kept dying. And I'm like, what if I wasn't somebody he recognized? What would have happened that day? What if the driver too did nothing? He was just standing there. He's like, "Madam, I didn't fear, I don't want wahala." But people go through these things every day. Why do we have to be violent on each other? Like I said, it goes back to my first point, the mindset. These people have no sense of self-awareness, no sense of value. They just get, I don't even think they do any personal development training to even understand what their job is, to protect the people. They have none of that. And you put them out there on the street, everybody is hungry and angry at the system. So they take it out on the next person that they come into contact with because of survival. And it is not anybody's fault, but there's a way to dialogue these things. We are going to continue talking about it forever until the system fixes itself, or until we get the right people that can fix the system to do that. If we can, and it's so sad because it's still happening even after we did all the protests and everything happened and people died and people got hurt and all this drama that's going on is still going on, in court and everything. People are still being harassed by the police. Just last night, I saw a video of somebody being harassed by the police for tinted car license. He said he was licensed for it, a police officer, and he's literally harassing a passenger and a driver of the car. These things are going to happen, but the system needs to be fixed. And that's where, when you have a selfless leader, he's going to come into the picture and care and show that I understand you, I understand your feelings, I understand what is going on, and we are going to resolve this issue together. And when you can hear these words, it helps to make you feel at ease. It's like your children come to you and your daughter and son are fighting or arguing over something. And then you talk to them and you say, no need to fight. We're going to get this resolved. We're going to, so this is how you do it. This is how you do it. And you talk to them, you advise them. As a parent, you make them ease, you make them feel that they have someone you can rely on whenever something goes on. And I feel like that's one thing we as the youth want to hear when it comes to the NSAS issues. We really want to hear that things will be okay, things are going to be fixed, and want to see that these things are being implemented after you say it. We want to see changes. We want to see that we are safe, and provide a safe environment for us all.
Thank you very much. I'll take just one more question, and then there's EMC Uyumi who would like to ask a question. So after you've answered this question, I'll ask her to ask her question or make her comment. And the question is this, as a semi-outsider, maybe that's what I should call you now, looking into Nigeria, what made you want to semi-live here and do business here? Did Nigeria receive you well? What are the challenges you are having? And what would you like anybody in power to try and do to solve whatever problems you might have had in trying to do business here?
So I've been well received. I think it's because of my industry. The film industry is open to anybody from any part of the world. So it's very welcoming. I've not really had issues. I've had no problems. I've blended in perfectly well. I've fitted in. I think I will say people call me Hollywood actress, even more than they will call me, any other. But maybe little challenges would be the regular things that every Nigerian would complain about: the light-off situation, the traffic, that sometimes you cannot just get to your destination on time. Sometimes I can't even plan 2 meetings in a day, or even more than 2 meetings, because of the traffic situation. Those ones. But Lagos is a hugely populated city, so it's expected. And like I said earlier, the people are always in a hurry. Everybody on the road is in a hurry to somewhere. So nobody is waiting to understand that logically everybody's supposed to drive on 2 lanes and just be going slowly until you get to your destination. They want to create 4 lanes on a 2-lane road and still be in a hurry to get there, then cause traffic, and then everybody sits down and wait for 5 hours or 6 hours. But if you go to developed countries, you will see that there might be traffic, but it's still moving because people are abiding by the law. They are moving because they know that if they take a 3rd lane, they can be arrested, they can be fined over thousands of dollars, and they don't want that. Money no day. But here, nobody is on the road to even stop you. Everybody's tired. The person that is supposed to be traffic warden is tired. This one is too hot. So that is the issue. And that's the problem with developing countries. We face these things. We face them. The light-off situation happens in other parts of Africa. It happens even in the great United States, like to go off. But when you're having like every single day, there's this issue and that issue, is stressful. But when you understand how to manage your emotions, you will not let all these things get to you. You understand how to work with them and live with them. And I think that's why I've been able to adapt easily, because I learned how to live with them. I learned how to plan myself when I'm here in Lagos or in Nigeria as a whole. Maybe there has to be just a little bit of more improvement on the side of, how to approach foreigners when they come, because not everybody understands you the first time they walk into your country or they arrive into your country. They need to be approached more, in a more nice way, in a way that says, hey, come back again, and we get that a lot. When you arrive at the airport, sometimes you'll be like, what's going on here is like a zoo sometimes, and all those things happen. But I think it's all about orientation. Like I said, if the leaders that are there can train people or send these people to the proper training, or invite people that know, that are very much aware on how to train these people to come and be doing seminars with them, let them start developing their mindset to see how people need to be spoken to, how nicely you should welcome somebody when they arrive into your office space or to your airport and things like that. And a lot of things will change. You won't be having fights, and stuff like that. People will not be angry all the time.
Thank you very much. Yemisi, please unmute yourself and let's take your question or your comment.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Thank you for the program we're having today, and I thank Juliet Ibrahim. And my question, I have a question and a comment.
We can't hear you, Yemisi.
It actually leads to another question. I mean, have a good leader. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we're hearing you now. Go ahead, Yemisi. We're losing you.
Hello?
Please speak properly into the mic.
Okay. If you have a good leader, but the followers are very, very difficult to govern, how do you handle that? If you think of, trying to force them to do things the right way, they criticize the leaders that they are bad leaders. Like, let me share a short example. I went for midweek service yesterday, and unknowingly, I didn't do a follow-up of what happened along a particular route that will lead to the island, where there was a place that actually got burnt. We were actually diverted. There was a diversion there, and it was just one route that we were supposed to all follow. Unfortunately, the military people were taking one way. The whole place was terrible. In fact, I couldn't just come down and say, let me go back home. I blamed myself for coming out. These are military people, uniformed men. We have good leaders, but the people are surrounding us, they are just. So how do you handle them? That is the first question. My second question is, how do we make people have a kind of a creative mind? To keep us away from me, and I keep doing a research on one, Dubai country, and two, the late Michael Jackson. I do follow up on the things he had done, which has really, really, really inspired me and broadened my mind. But how do we now make people, even with the money people have, you give them like, okay, this is a cloth, a plain cloth, do something with it. What they'll do with it, you have to close your eyes and what is this? I was fortunate to work with one of the top musicians, Davido, and right on this, was trying to advertise or promoting, I think he wanted to do a Grammy Award in UK, blah, 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 and stuff. The normal way of doing the song and stuff. I said, okay, what is the difference now? When you have just one person when he was alive that collected 26 Grammy Awards in just one day, which was Michael Jackson. So how do we now broaden people's mind? How do we make them, come up and bring their mind alive, to be able to do things to make us go out of underdeveloped country into a developed country? Thank you very much.
All right, Juliet, over to you.
Thank you. So I think it still boils down to the fact that everybody needs self-improvement. One major thing that I feel we lack, like I said, we lack leadership understanding, we lack leadership schools, we lack leadership trainings, we lack all these things. And that's because back then we had none of these. We didn't understand all these things. But now with this generation, these things are right at our doorstep. There are schools being set up. There are online schools that people can even attend, classes. You can read podcasts. Listen to podcasts. You can read books about leadership, tendencies. And leadership is not just like, oh, because you want to, I'm a leader. No. Leadership is serving the people. It's like serving people that are under you. It's like you want to lead because you have a vision, but then you have like-minded people like yourself with the same vision, and you all want to achieve that vision together. A leader is somebody who never stops learning. So like you just said, these people are the ones who are supposed to lead you, and then they're the ones taking the one way to come and causing further traffic. Yeah, that's fine. But guess what? Like I said, it's the system. The system is not well taught. Those people that are in higher places feel ego and greed and selfish. They are not selfless leaders. They are not selfless leaders. That's why they come into the picture and they're like, let me just take my own and go. Take my own and go. I don't care about everybody else. But imagine if every individual on that road that was stuck in traffic have developed and they understand what it means to be, a leader in their own right. They are self-motivated. They've invested in themselves. They've improved on their character. They have knowledge of so many things in life. Like they're aware of what they want to be or what should be done in that situation. And those people start coming. Imagine what will happen there. They'll probably not even allow those people to pass in the first place. And everybody will sit down and bring out their phone and record what's happening. And it goes viral. You go live. Imagine everybody's going live. Those people will be shy. They'll just, because what do they want to do? Beat people on the road when they're being recorded live? No. But somebody will come out, a leader among everybody will come out and say, oh God, you are causing further traffic. You are supposed to set an example as a leader in this situation. Don't be the one to be causing this. And you will speak quietly to them. And guess what? Those people might even understand what you're trying to say. And it's, oh, it's true. Okay, let's see how we can create road for everybody to move. Or let's see how we can even be here to help and, and conduct the traffic better and ease up the situation. That should be the mindset of a true leader. He wants to solve problems. He wants to create opportunities for everybody to work together as a team. And that should be the mindset. So, it goes back to me saying, it starts from every individual. So when you ask that question, it starts from every individual. We have to invest in ourselves. There's a school, Gutney Leadership Center, that is in Nigeria here. And I have gone there myself to personally learn twice already. And I'm going again because I want to understand, what does it take? What does it mean for me to work with people? And that's where emotional intelligence comes in, with people that come from different walks of life, different upbringing, different everything. And I'm in the midst of these people. How do I want to identify with these people? How do I want to react to whatever that triggers me? How do I want to solve these little problems? How do I want to assist, to use my voice, to share it? So whatever you went through, or whatever you've also learned in your own way from listening to this today, you're going to sit down, share the video later, and tell your friends, listen to this. I feel like it's something you need to learn from it. Those little things that you start doing, you start following the right mentors, you start learning, you start doing your research, you start changing. Let people see you changing within yourself. Your friends will even ask you that, this one that you're always talking about leader, you're always talking about this, like you're talking about doing the right thing, you get into traffic, you're not in the hurry, you're not shouting at the back. Oh yeah, it's going on. Like if you stop doing those things, and your friends like, how are you so calm and calculated in this situation that should cause panic? And then you're like, oh, it's because I understand that. I understand my emotions, I am controlling it, and I understand that I don't need to be triggered. That's your response to them. They will look at you like, oh, man, wow, okay, so how do you do it? Then you are teaching one person, and that one person goes on to teach another person and another person and another person. I feel like that's how we can all get to learn, until we start enforcing like leadership classes in maybe the universities. We start enforcing that people start learning even from like secondary schools. We start having all these things inside, which is very necessary because you need to be able to understand all these things from a younger age to be able to grow up with that mindset.
Thank you very much. Esohe Moloku and Anthony Ugebo, please take your questions one after the other for our guest tonight. Esohe, you want to unmute yourself?
Yeah, I have. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
First of all, thank you very much, Pastor, for bringing a young person onto this platform, and a young person like Juliet that has traveled to so many places and can actually tell us, what happens there and how a young person has reacted. We're here in Nigeria, we have leaders who also travel. They go to other countries. They go to developed countries. They don't react to what they see like a young person would. They're interested in maybe they're going there to buy property or they're going there to go shopping or whatever. They don't see the basic needs of society being answered in these foreign places. Rapid mass transit. They go there, they see all these things, but it doesn't register. They go to countries, she mentioned Dubai. Dubai is a bit on the high side. Go to other countries. What is happening? You take care of the people first, and you cannot do so if you do not have the mindset. You cannot do anything for the people when you don't think about them. You only think about them when it's 12 months to election. Then you start promising things you will never be able to fulfill. Recently, there was a ghastly accident at a toll booth at Lekki here, conservation. 2 people were killed because the dispatch riders were riding on the wrong side of the expressway at a terrific speed. An accident waiting to happen. And why do they do this? Like she has said, people follow by example. They've seen police cars going in the opposite direction. They've seen important, in quotes, people going in the wrong direction. Nigerians, once you are doing something wrong and people see that you are doing something wrong and nothing is happening about it, they follow you. And that is the result of 10 lanes on a 3-lane road, on a 3-lane expressway. Once somebody makes 4, another person starts the 5th one, another person starts the 6th one, they will follow and continue doing it. When you're talking about mindset, my dear, I understand that very well. And I side with you when you say we need to start with the children, our children, because every other person right now, we've gone beyond that. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. We have to start with the children. So when we start with the kids, teach them the right thing, get them to have the right mindset, let them understand good from bad. Tell them that you cannot do this. You can't eat sweet and throw your paper. That's a simple, you can't throw the paper anywhere. That is the beginning. I remember once in Nigeria, we had a law, you cannot throw rubbish out of the car, you'll be arrested. All that has gone under under the bridge. Nobody bothers. People eat and throw things out. This is because there is no consequence for how people behave in Nigeria. No, but I'm talking about Nigeria because it's my country. There is no consequence for bad behavior because people know if they have money, they can get away with anything. But you have to start with the children. Juliet, thank you very much, because I always say this, people need to read. When you read, you expand your mind. If you can't read on the internet or whatever, you can also do that digitally. A proper leader who is trying to get people to vote and put him in power should look at providing facilities that everybody can be able to access the rest of the world on a digital platform. It can be done. I don't know what they're doing with the rest of the money, but it can be done. Children can learn faster that way. If not, let them be taught how to read. It will change their mind. All the time, when you hear a little child say something, they say, oh, out of the mind of this. This is because they have not been soaked in the, in the bad attitude that goes up around them. But if they continually remain in that space, by the time they're teenagers, they will be completely corrupted. So as far as I'm concerned, and my own last word is this: we will try our best. I'm a grandmother, so my time has passed, but I do have grandchildren, and I'm teaching them the best I can. Thank you.
Thank you so
Very
much.
much. Thank you very much. Anthony, please.
And before he goes on, I would like to say there are also, like, for the kids and even for home, if they don't have any like leadership programs in school, like what I do for my kids, I'll call them my kids because my nieces are my kids as well, is buy leadership, children leadership books, stuff for them to read. We talk about it, just to have that mind and grow. Yeah.
Okay. Well, just still going to respond to what Soha has said, but I want Mr. Ogebo to take his question, possibly Stanley Okonkwo, and then I'll have you speak to the three comments right afterwards. Anthony?
Hello, yes. Yes, good afternoon, everybody. So the talk about leadership, I agree with you, but you seem to underestimate, that some of us, particularly on the male side, were naturally primitive and irredeemable. So what I'm trying to say is this: by virtue of some cultural issues, exposure, value systems, you can't change people's primitivity. It's common amongst our friends, our neighbors, our colleagues. Some people are just the way they are. It's like the DNA. The DNA is a very serious, I don't know if you understand the concept of DNA, but people are who they are. And so that is an issue where you can't really change some people, no matter how you try. It's like trying to, talk about leadership among the Taliban. It's not going to happen in a million years. So that's the problem with that. And with our youth, if I have any advice for our youth, because, they're already here, like Nigeria youth, I'm in New York. They're some of the most brilliant youths on the planet, not because I'm Nigerian. If you come to America, in academia, in medicine, in science, in engineering, in the private sector, Nigerians are doing fantastically well, very, very well. So the youth in Nigeria, they need to come together somehow. I don't know how that's going to happen, but they have the energy, they have what it takes, they are the majority of the population. They can throw out some of these old, prehistoric guys around, clogging their future. So that's what I have to say about that, in terms of the youth need to take ownership by cooperating and not allow themselves to be divided in the volume in which they are divided today. So that's with that, with respect to that. The other thing I want to talk about leadership is, for example, this other candidate for presidency, Bola Tinubu, is already showing from his commentary, I don't understand from his commentary, that he's got a lot of problems. For example, when he's making pledges, unsolicited pledges, that he's not going to step on the toes of the current president. I don't understand. Somebody help me. Since when is it a prerequisite that you have to make a pledge that you're not going to step on the toes of the predecessor? How is that a prerequisite to being president? I don't understand that. And also talking about, he's not sick and all that. But for crying out loud, I'm not a doctor, but somebody who looks like that is not well. Let's not kid ourselves. If you look the way he looks, He's got problems, medical. So here's the deal.
His heart was?
Problems.
Oh, problems.
If
No.
if Tinubu becomes the president of Nigeria, in my submission, from what I mean, I think I've been around for a little bit. It's like Nigeria committed suicide because from where we are right now, we've seen what it takes for people who with ill health, uninformed, slow, not up to date. We're in the 24th century, for crying out loud. 24th century. When you come overseas, you see that there's nothing they're doing that is so magical about being overseas. They're just using their brains. That's all it is. I mean, a few days ago, Syracuse University in New York, upstate New York, they had their medical class graduated. Syracuse University. 51% of the graduating class were girls. 51% out of 175 students. I happen to know one of the girls in there. So this is the power of the youth. We have to get rid of these old people, not all of them, but this primitive thinking. And the youth can do this. If they come together, technology is there for you to come together, like Juliet, very exposed, very eloquent. I mean, you are here, the future, comparative with everybody else on the planet. You come together, use technology, get rid of these guys quickly so they can take charge. I mean, you have the numbers. I mean, what are you waiting for? So this is my submission to you.
That's a very good one, Anthony. And I think I'd like to appeal to the youth to respond to that submission, and also to ask Juliet if she's going to be able to gather the young people. I'm sure she has quite a lot of followers, and get them all to register for their PVCs and come together and decide on the future of Nigeria. And they should stop being afraid. They should stop being afraid of anything. Nigeria belongs to all of us, and they have the numbers right now. And if they came together and decided on who they wanted their leader to be, I'm sure Nigeria will respond to that. So I'd like to join Anthony with what he has said in galvanizing the youth. We really need to do that, and they should really get cracking. Stanley, can I hear your question or your comment quickly? We're running out of time. Stanley, unmute yourself, please. Stanley.
Thank you. Okay. Can you hear me? Good evening.
Go ahead, Stanley.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. I want to say a very big thank you for hosting this program. Actually, I was following Juliet online. I didn't even know. I had to, when I saw her retweet, I said, no, I'm going to join this conversation. Well, what I want to appeal to Juliet, I think she has to get her colleagues involved. The celebrities in Nigeria have a major role to play. I don't believe Nigerian system cannot be correct. Nigeria is our country. It's a lovely country. I've never traveled out of the country before. But I believe that this country will be good. If the celebrities, you just said, I have a lot of followers. If the celebrities can come together, start from the grassroots. Yes, we know that the youths, if you come, we all know that a lot of people, a lot of these young guys are suffering. Poverty is a problem. Poverty is a problem. If the celebrities can come together, some big young guys, there was a group I used to join those time. I lost out. Young professionals forum. What they do, they get this group of people. Ask them, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? And for everybody donates and raise funds for them. This is a way of removing poverty. So if we can achieve this by 60%, I believe that nobody will want to go and sell his or her food. If we can do this, the youths we are more than the old men and old women in this country. So the celebrities have a role to play. They say, I'm not helping matters. I've seen some videos online footballers going to pray for Tinubu, Timida going to sing for. These are recycled leaders. We don't need this kind of people. If these people keep coming, Nigeria can never be good. We don't need recycled leaders. It's time for us to go and pick up this mantle. I, on my own side, have dedicated my time. Even though I'm able to leave this country, I will come back in 2023 and I will start from the grassroots. I did it in 2019 election. I made sure that nobody in my ward collected money to vote. I don't care. So what I'm appealing to Julie, she can help gather this, her colleagues. They have a role to play, a major role to play. Each more than every celebrity have more than 1 million followers. They have a role to play. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stanley. That's very, very good comment. Juliet, are you going to run a vanguard to get all your colleagues together with your 2, 3, 4, 5 million followers, even if they got their PVCs? Maybe we can begin to talk a different story. So over to you. You have 2 or 3 comments or questions to respond to. Then we take a few others from Ibrahim Khan and also from Toyibawe. But please respond, Juliet.
Okay. Yeah, so I would like to say thanks to everyone. Everybody has said, something that makes a difference and can make a difference. So I will speak to the first lady, mommy, that said stuff. What I would just like to say to her is the fact that, these people, like you said, they travel and they're only concerned about investing over there. Trust me, they see these things. They see they see what they are experiencing in these countries when they travel, like the developed countries. It's just unfortunate that they have not evolved over time because they are older. They haven't even made any efforts to evolve with how time has moved on and how things have evolved. So they are stagnant. They remain stuck in their ways. They remain stuck and they are short-sighted. There's no vision because their idea of leadership or being a leader had no vision. They just entered this thing with a different mindset, greed. I'm going to take and take and take. Let me just go and chop and collect and go. And at the end of the day, that's what we end up with. And which is why you find most of our, developing countries suffering and still suffering. And we're still stuck there because those that start developing their mindset, start understanding these things, will travel. Like Stanley said, you travel, you stay there, and then some people just don't want to even come back home. They don't want to come back. They come back and visit and go because they are tired of the system. They give up on the system. And that's because of these things that keep going. It's like an evolving issue that we face in our society, in our government, in Africa or most developing countries. Rightfully, we are going to be on it and encourage people to vote because at the end of the day, their vote counts. Most people will sit down. Some people will say, oh, they will rig it after all. Why should I go and vote? Your vote counts. You have the power to choose who you want to be there. And if you sit at home, that one vote might be the reason why somebody wrong will be put into power. And it happens. We see it happening all over the world. So it is going to be something that we're going to campaign on more and more, that we need to vote. We need to go out and get our PVCs and vote. So I'm going to do all I can after this and keep pushing it, keep pushing the agenda of awareness that the power of whatever it is you want for your country, the vision you have for your country lies in your hands. So you have to go out there and vote. And for the gentleman that spoke earlier, and then he said some people are stuck in their mindset, they can't change. I believe that that's not true, but that's the discussion for another day. If you start letting people see through your eyes what it is you see, they can be able to understand and they can gradually be able to change or evolve. it takes time. It's not something that can be done overnight. That's why you feel like they will never, or they won't understand, but they do change. And it's difficult, but we can get there. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Juliet. We're coming gradually to the end of the program, but there are 4 people who want to ask questions, so I'll take all 4 of them. So please make notes of whatever they ask, and thereafter I'll ask you for your closing comments, and then we can try and call it a day. All right. My friend Ibrahim Pam, Itoha Akenzwa Okoje, Toyib Awe. I'm sure Toyib has watched a lot of your movies. That's why he wants to ask you a question. He's a good friend of mine. And then, of course, Alex Ajibade. Alex Ajibade, my friend also. Ibrahim, over to you. I hope you join the executive committee, Ibrahim, because there's plenty of work for you to do.
I'm with you, Pastor Itwa, anytime.
You have to be with me. You have to be with me.
Florence.
Right.
Thanks. Thank you, Juliet. And let me take off from where Stanley stopped. As it's a bit of disturbance. I don't know where that.
I don't know if somebody's microphone is on.
Thank you, Alex. So Juliet, I was looking as you were speaking just now on your Instagram account, and you have 7 million followers. And on Twitter, you have over 530,000 followers. Now that's a lot of social capital. And I'm glad you have expressed some interest in governance. So let me put it to you this way. You've built up this really big social capital. But I think with that kind of following, you have an obligation then to utilize that power of influence for good. Therefore, I would suggest to you, if that is what you intend to do, to use that amount of social capital to transform it into political capital, I would suggest that you probably look at championing a number of causes with respect to good governance. And if you can really focus on a few really important things, it could be, it's open to you what you choose. It could be girl-child education. It could be peace. It could be water and sanitation. It could be, if you focus on things that are really important to you, and you get sufficient research, education, learning, and coaching around those issues, you can become a really, really powerful advocate for good. With 7 million followers, President Buhari won the last election with, I think, 15 million votes. So, you and one other person with your kind of following could actually command the kind of, and I'm not being silly about this. I know it doesn't really equate to the same thing, but you do get my point that I think you can use what you have to really make a difference. If you study the issues, you're well researched, you get properly coached, and you focus your influence around those issues. So I wish you all the best, and I would really hope that you partner with people like Pastor Itwa, who can help to shape some of those issues around your power of influence. So well done, and by the way, I love your films, and hopefully you support Nigeria against Ghana at tomorrow's football match.
Thank you very much.
He has to. She's drinking Nigerian water now, so. So you heard what Ibrahim said. Your work is cut out for you, Juliet. And I think I'd hinted on something like that at some stage a few weeks ago, that there's some issues that you should take up. But what is critical to us now is getting 7 million people to vote for somebody in Nigeria. So I'm sure they are not all Nigerians, but I'm sure that half of them will be Nigerian, or maybe a little bit more than that, and that's still influence. And if they're not, they can influence Nigerians to do this thing. And like Ibrahim said, if you get another friend of yours, and they're all your friends, I'm sure, let them be active and positive and add value. You know, Iniedo, all these people, Kate Henshaw, who comes to our church, by the way. So I'm talking to her also. Stella Damasus, and so on and so forth. They can do something really great, you know, something really great. In fact, that's your industry alone. If you had to eat Jimmy Dakolo, you had to eat Davido, you had to eat Banky W, and so on and so forth. You people can really command a lot of following. So if you can help me talk to them and motivate them, you would have done something really outstanding. And that will be something really positive from this meeting. Itoha has a question for you, I think, and also Toyib. I can't find Toyib right now. But Itoha, please go ahead. And then Alex Ajibade after you. Alex, I can see. Itoha. Okay, Toyib, you go after Itoha, and then Alex will ask the last question. We can't hear you, Itoha. Itoha, please go ahead.
Okay, good evening, Pastor. Good evening, everyone. First of all, Juliet, well done, and you know, for putting your feet in the water, as it were, and taking on that leadership role of being an activist. A long time ago, I'm in my nearly 60. I also used to be an activist many years ago in different climes, and being in having that role, of being in that role, it speaks to a bit of what Mr. Pam said about then honing in onto that thing that, you know, is your niche. So whether it's, you know, whatever subject matter. So I also agree, because I wanted to say something similar to what Mr. Pam said, you know, find that your niche, especially with all the followers you have, and let that be the change, let that be the narrative. I think what is a challenge for our young people is that they're sick and tired of hearing from, you know, those of us from the generation of the 60s and the 50s. They're sick and tired, and they may listen to us, but they'll say, yeah, you know, you're only saying this, but you guys have chopped and cleaned mouth. It's our turn now. If the young people start to organize workshops, talk shops, whatever they call them, town hall meetings, and then start to change the narrative so that, you know, they stop listening to thinking about the things of my shoes are bigger than your shoes, or my hair is longer than your hair, or my bag is bigger than your bag, and get serious matters on the table, start speaking, and just have them all over the place. So, you know, all the young people sort of gather together, and then this, because people know, the young people do know, but it's like, I can't be bothered anymore. You know, who's telling us what to do? The older generation who've been chopping and eating all day long, kind of thing. So I think that's one thing about changing the narrative, about changing the mindset. If there's a change of narrative on the table, then the mindset slowly but surely. Then the other thing that I want to speak to is the emotional intelligence. Mr. Pam had said when he spoke, I remember when he was a guest, I agreed was that the reason why there's also so much, I'm not quoting him, but why things haven't moved on is also because there's a lot of trauma based on the war, particularly from the eastern part of the country. That left a lot of trauma. And I want to go on to say that it's even beyond just the eastern part of the country. Everywhere there's a lot of, I'm going to say, psychological damage. And so we don't even know how to respond emotionally, intelligently, because we're also damaged. You know, it's in this same society, you get a mother who says, you know, you've stolen and I'm going to beat you, and then they beat, and then they use a blade, for example, to mark that child. You know, what informs that kind of mind? It's in this same society to where a father will say, oh, I want to double check that my child remains a virgin till they're 50, and then uses an egg. You know, how crude. And these are generations that are not too far away. So there's a lot of damage, there's a lot of trauma, and I don't know if without being active in trying to undo that, I don't know if anything can really change from those people, from a lot of people who have been affected, and it's men, women, all. And that's why I'm joining you, Juliet, to say that if more young people can be mobilized to speak and change the topic, change the discussion, change the narrative. Thank you. I just wanted to add that to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toim. After this conversation, you have to cut your beard.
we'll come to that, Pastor.
I think I've had enough of this beard, Toim. You have to really cut it.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Toim.
Good evening, Juliet. Good evening, Pastor. Okay, Juliet, I really appreciate you coming on tonight and all that you have spoken about. My question would be, first, what you are doing personally to, would I call it, give like a different orientation to the youth? With the kind of followership you have, you definitely are a leader amongst the youth in your field, in your career. And it'll be good to know what you are doing personally, as well as what you're doing as a group in terms of your associations of Nollywood actresses with all the people in, like celebrities like yourself. Because what you find is a lot of our youth right now are misguided. There's almost no guidance for them. In the 80s, when we had a lot of youth that were traveling out, we had the National Orientation Agency come up with some adverts that we all remember of Andrew, don't check out. Today, we don't even know what that agency is doing because there's almost no message to even pass across to the youth. So they are just floating. The last case of ritual killings that we had were 17, 18-year-olds. And when they asked them, they said they found out about it on Facebook. And that is, I find it a little funny. But one of my friends went onto that Facebook page and realized that that page had 70,000 followers. And it was just one of the many ritual groups on Facebook. So I would really like to know what people like yourself, your group are doing to really help. When you see Tyler Perry movies, you can get the message he's trying to pass across. When you go into these movies, are you going to take on roles that you want to take on roles deliberately to pass on the message to the youth? Or you would just take any role that comes with it? That really is all I need to know.
Thank you,
I know
Toyin.
that we have a group of amongst you young people in Africa as a whole, because your followership is definitely not just Nigeria, it's definitely not just Ghana, but a lot of youth across Africa. And most of the problems we have in Nigeria cuts across all African or developing countries as we are. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toib. And what you're insinuating is that Juliet is going to also help us with our Pan-African movement, our Pan-African entree. So she had better get ready for a lot of work.
There's a lot of
and then also a lot of work, yeah. A lot of work without Toib's beard. Amen.
It's going off. It's going off.
Okay, and the issue of acting movies that are relevant and have a right tone at the top is so important, because quite a lot of people have gone into this Yahoo thing or ritual killing, largely because of what they've seen in Nollywood and places like that, Yoruba films, Igbo films, and all manners of things. Alex, please let me hear you. And because he's a youth, I'll take a last comment or question from Faye, and that will be that, please. Alex, go ahead, please. You have to unmute yourself, Alex.
Okay.
Unmute, you've muted again.
Okay. Am I on now, sir?
Yeah, we can hear
okay.
you now.
Okay, thanks very much. I think the pastor is afraid of seeing a rabbi nearby. So, well, thanks a lot, and thanks for what you are doing and the group and sister that is online today. What I want to say precisely is I asked a question on the chat that when we had the Buhari Idiagbon and what people termed as draconian laws, the way Nigeria is going, the use and the followership then, and compared to the emotional intelligence or the emotional well-being of Nigerians today, and the way they think, the way they reason, how is our speaker, how does it compare the two of them? Is it better or are we going backward or forward? That is one question. Then personally, what I wanted to say is this. When it comes to emotional things, Taya and Kehinde are not the same. They don't think the same way. Their emotional intelligence, everything, because what they are exposed to matters a lot. And now the emotion of Nigerians, especially people in the village, has been that, okay, let me even take the youth of today that you see in Lekki, everywhere with big money. The youth of today don't believe in percentage anymore. What they think is mop up. I don't know, Pastor, you must have heard the word mop up. It is mop up. These are the kind of youth we have today. And they copy the people ahead. That's where Yahoo is reigning. And I'm not trying to preach fear, but when there are no consequences, people are engaged. People go against the law. When you know it's only 50 naira, I go there. When if I steal 10 billion, that's why the figures are going higher every day. You steal 10 billion, reserve 5 for the judges, reserve 3 for the police, and you have the rest for yourself. And it's going on, plea bargaining and everything. Who will stop it? It is not this democracy. I'm sorry to say, it is not this democracy that is going to stop it. What we have in Ghana today, look at when Jerry Rawlings came into Ghana. Yes, everything became so, some felt it's going haywire. But then the effect when the civilian now came back, Ghana in terms of Rawlings, Ghana 3 years, 5 years after Rawlings is not the same Ghana we are having today. But the effect of what he did that time is what is carrying Ghana on today. So the emotionally, Nigerians have been made to believe, especially the youth now that, look, give us something. In fact, I went to my village because I've contested Federal House of Rep 4 times. And I went to my village to go and talk to people. Funny enough, the youth are mine. But then the youth who, when right now, look, ask for the lyrics of the songs of the so-called celebrity. Ask for the script of the so-called successful artists. In what way are we teaching morals? In what way are they directing them? And when the time of election comes, the same celebrities, some will go for APC, some because they want to collect money, some will go for PDP. So where are we going? How do we go ahead to change the mindset of these people? We need to catch them young, right from secondary school. Thank you, sir, so that I won't be the one giving the speech. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, Alex. Thank you for those very warm comments. Last comments from Faye. Juliet, I hope you are noting all these comments because you'll now respond to all of them at the same time. Faye, last comment, please.
Okay. Good evening, sir. Good evening, Juliet. So I kind of have some like a comment. I mean, since I've been hearing all these ideas about your followers, so it just kind of struck me. So maybe Juliet Ibrahim, you can sort of champion an entertainment meets politics sort of conference where you and your colleagues that can honor your invites can sort of discuss how they can be involved in influencing politics with the power of their followership. I'm sure it's something like a Burna Boy, Two-Face, Yul Edochie, that's Peter Edochie's son, to name a few might want to support. I mean, I'm just thinking out loud, so I just thought to drop that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, everyone, for being on the platform today. Going forward from next week, we'll be using a password to log into our meetings. We do apologize that somebody hacked in today with some rude comments. Also, we'd like you to visit our YouTube site to view past episodes. There's quite a lot of them, very, very brilliant, every single one of them. Like and share. okay, on your various channels. Please tell others about what is going on at the ALG. Let them join and be our guests in nation building. Our YouTube channel is African Leadership Group, African Leadership Group, or you go to my channel, Pastor Itwa Igodalo. Itwa is with an H, and Ighodalo is my surname. So Itwa, Ituah, Ighodalo, or the African Leadership Group. Okay, so I'll be asking Her Excellency Juliet Ibrahim to respond. Maybe one day she'll run for office. I don't know if it's going to be in Lebanon or Liberia or Ghana or Nigeria, if we allow her by that time. You know, the president of Africa,
Yes.
or Ivory Coast, president of Africa, no problem. We're waiting. President of Africa, that
Yes.
sounds like a plan. Okay, so please, can you respond to all those comments, and then let us have your closing remarks. Thank you.
So everybody touched on like very important topics, and I like the fact that Mommy mentioned the trauma, from other experiences in homes, and a lot of people are dealing with a lot of psychological issues, and if we all know that therapy is something that is not common in our society, we will know that a lot of people are really, really mentally disturbed in society, and they found ways to deal with those things and just live with it. So those little triggers, those things, it affects the people you come in contact with. It affects relationships. It affects like friendships, even parenting. And that's why you find a lot of it's like a ladder, and it keeps growing and growing, because whatever they pass on to their children pass it on to their children's children, and is evolving, and that's the negative kind of mindset because of the traumas and them not being able to deal with their emotions, or even not knowing how to control it. And I think that's why we need to learn more, we need to study, we need to be able to embrace the idea of therapy and communicating and evolving and learning. Then I'll also go to the question from Toyib, or I think it was the man before Toyib, and he said, what am I doing personally to change or to help? So yes, it took me some time to discover what I really wanted to do, my purpose, and this all started during the pandemic. I wrote a book in 2019, and I launched it, a Toast to Life book. And when I wrote that book, for me, it was like my way of giving back to society, to help young girls and people that even read the book, like even the men, to understand how having a daughter or like a sister, how you can be able to deal with them and their emotions and things like that. And just sharing my story for anybody who reads it to relate to it and have an understanding of how an African young girl can just come out of all these experiences in life and still become somebody or make somebody out of herself because of her mentality, because she built a mindset for herself, that she had a vision, she wanted this, and she was going to do everything possible to get into that position. So after that, in 2020 with the pandemic, I had months to sit at home, not working, and to think and find my purpose. And that's where I met this amazing person. His name is Mr. Camille. Mr. Camille runs and organizes the most influential people of African descent. And he just helped me to go through this, it's called Connecting to Yourself, one class. And I did that class, and it made me realize what my greater purpose was, and what my inner strength was. I know I've always known, like as a young girl, that I was put on earth to do something great, to train, to just change lives or to impact life. But I thought it was the fact that I just used to help people, even from school. I used to assist people. I always wanted to be helping. So I set up my NGO. But it's more than just helping people with finances or like doing little things for them. I felt like there was so much more that I lacked in me. after I did the course. Then I decided to develop myself. So, like I said, I don't want to go out there to start telling people what to do or what. I just wanted to understand myself first, discover myself first, develop myself first. Then I'll be able to come out and start speaking. And it took me 1 year plus. I used the whole of 2020, 2021 to develop myself. That's why I haven't really done a whole lot. You've not heard about me adding like much my voice much to a lot of things and issues. But now I'm here with I'm privileged to be on this huge platform with Pastor to talk about these things, because I feel I am now ready. Even though I'm still learning in the process, I am now ready. So now I can go and I can talk to my colleagues, I can talk to people, I can set up going to what New Breed Network said, and Toyib about organizing, seminars and stuff. I can now do that because now I'm fully aware of what my direction is and what I want to do and what I need to add my voice to and what I need to use my platform for. So I'm in that path and on that path. And I would like for everyone watching today to support me in every way through the African Leadership Group. Let's, I want to do entertainment meets politics. I would love to do that. I would love to focus mostly. What I'm working on right now is a project for girl child personal development. I'm not even trying to just limit it to the girl child, but that's what I was most passionate about, because I feel a lot of women lack these things where they feel like, no, a woman should always be second to the man. That's why I wanted to like develop them more and work on it. But I'm open to collaborating on several projects and getting like sponsors or like people who are willing to collaborate with me to set up this kind of platforms. We can do it in schools. That's where I want to start first with my project that I'm working on. And I feel like it starts from the younger ones. When we start changing their mindset, when we start making them to see their worth, their value, when they start understanding how to be self-motivated and how you're supposed to live and do things, it helps because they take that out and they go out into society and they become better people, and it shows on them, and they themselves will be leaders in their own fields and their own areas, and they start multiplying to other areas. So I appreciate everybody's comments, and I'm willing to work with everybody here, and let's just make Africa great again. Thank you.
And make Africa great again. That's what we say, make Africa great again. Juliet, I must thank you very much for taking time. I know it's not been easy to be on the platform. I'm sure that you yourself have had quite a refreshing time with the comments and questions that you've had, and it's been a bit of a learning experience for you also. So you're we're most grateful to have you. And I want to thank everybody that's made a comment and asked some questions and added value. I think we've gotten some good takeaways from here. Number one, Juliet, you have 7 million followers, 7.5 million followers. We have to tap into that and see how we can motivate them positively in a certain direction. Number two, entertainment meets politics, which we're hoping that working with Ulu in the back office and one of the ladies who is quite used to manage entertainers. I don't know if you know her or not. We can put up a small team to work on that as quickly as possible so that your industry and people like yourselves know exactly which direction we're going. Number three, working with ALG one way or the other to see how we can push things a bit further, not just in Nigeria, Ghana, Ivory Coast, and Africa, and then we'll conquer Lebanon and take them over. I'm sure.
Been fighting for God knows how long.
They keep fighting. Since I've been born, they've been fighting in Lebanon. So I think we need to go and take them over there. And some of your cousins and relatives there, brothers and sisters, we need to tell them we can support. So thank you very, very much for coming. I'm sure we'll be talking later. Olu will probably get in touch with you also, and we'll see how we can take some of these conversations further and all the ideas we need or we can get to fix Africa and to make Nigeria a better place, we will try and do. My warm regards to all your people, especially your mom, who I'm sure might be on the platform if you told her about it. And I send my regards to your siblings also. Let's see how we can make things happen. Next week, we're having a retired General Pat Akem. He's going to be talking about strategic leadership and national development on the 31st of March at 5 p.m. Early on that day, there's going to be a colloquium in my honor at Trinity House at 11 o'clock. Colloquium in my honor. So that's Pat Akem. Strategic leadership and national development is a soldier, retired last year or the year before. So he understands the military kind of leadership, strategic leadership, and national development. I think he was posted to Sierra Leone or Liberia during the war, ECOMOG. I remember he served on ECOMOG and all that. So he's an old friend of mine, and he's going to be talking about on the military angle of this leadership challenge. And then, like I said, earlier on in the day, 11 o'clock at Trinity House, it's also going to be live on Zoom and various social media handles. We'll be having a colloquium in my honor. It's my birthday the week following, and some people thought they should organize a colloquium for me. When people start organizing colloquium for you, it tells you that you're getting on in age. Okay, so we're going to be having the Vice Chancellor, University of Lagos, speaking. General President Olusegun Obasanjo will be our chairman. I know that my friend and my brother, Pastor Paul Adefarasi, is going to be a discussant. Mrs. Shiju Iliomade is also going to be a discussant with a few other people. I don't have everybody's name off the top of my head as I speak. But I think it's going to be a very, very interesting session. So I'd like to invite everybody to be part of that session. It's been organized by the Tryon Foundation, which is championed by one of my aburos, Jerry Akishele, who's been working very hard to ensure that I push myself a bit forward in different ways and different angles. So please, you are most invited to that colloquium. Pastor Joseph Obayami is going to be a discussant. Reverend Samuel Aboyeji also will be a discussant. And our chairman, like I said, is Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, the former president, twice president of the Republic of Nigeria. And then Professor Oluwatoyin Ogundipe, Vice Chancellor, University of Lagos, will be speaking on the African Christian leadership, radical transformation in unsettled times. This is the second colloquium we're having. The first one was last year at my 60th, and this is this year. Radical transformation in unsettled times, 11 o'clock West African time. 11 o'clock West African time. Please try and be part of it next Thursday. And after that, we'll have our usual session here at 5 p.m. Your Excellency, Juliet, thank you very much for being part of this program. Thank you for all that you have shared. And we wish you very, very well in Nigeria and wherever life takes you. But just remember that we have to fix Africa and we have to make Africa great again. Everyone who's been on the program, thank you very much. God bless you. The Lord keep you, the Lord strengthen you. Let's keep praying for Nigeria. Let's keep praying for Africa. Like I said, we're fully registered now, and we have a bank account which we'll share. We want people to sign in, to join, to be part of what God is doing, and to see how we can work together to transform Nigeria and transform the rest of Africa and the world beyond as best as we can. Thank you once again, and please, let's see you all same time next week by God's grace. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.